So I'm Brandi Boyer, and I'm the Regional Marketing Manager for Fastenal Company. And one of the things that I work on in the region is recruiting and onboarding. I cover a territory that reaches from Southern California, or actually all the way out to Hawaii and Guam, out to El Paso, Texas. It includes the Vegas market and Southern Utah. We are a business-to-business industrial supply chain solutions company. With me, I have my coworker and teammate, Rebecca, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Lomas, and I am regional marketing support. So I support Brandi. My main focus is talent acquisition, onboarding, and retention. And my territory is LA Metro. So pretty much anything from Ventura County down into San Diego and then into the Inland Empire. So all of Riverside County.
They have a book of business that exists within their top 10 accounts that they're working on growing, and then a target 5 large accounts that they're working on. So they're going to come in the morning. These people are generally responsible for overseeing a warehouse and have an operations manager that they work side to side with. So they're going to work with that person to make sure there isn't any pending issues of the day and get those kind of, buttoned up for the day before attacking their book of business and looking at their CRM or customer relationship software to see what the today's plan for the sales is. Since our relationships with our customers are very long-term, they can reach and span into decades versus being a short-term, turnaround, one-time sales. We're going to attack our sales in a lot of different ways, via email, via in person, via phone. So their day-to-day is not going to look the same all the time. And so they're going to continually reach out to the same customers over and over again, setting up meetings, setting up plant and facility tours. They're going to set up business reviews with these customers and also work with our partner vendors to bring them in for different presentations, different cost analysis. Their days are going to look very different depending on what part of the sales cycle they are at with each individual customer. They also will potentially, depending on the size of their branch or fulfillment center, they're going to have an account specialist or multiple account specialists. And they're also going to work with that person in supporting them growing their accounts and bringing in the vendors and other solutions to those customers also. So they're going to have a very multifaceted day.
Our applicants or candidates do not have to be business majors. We're really confident in our training programs. And so we can take people from any major and pretty much train them in the sales process. That's kind of what we are experts in, is training people in the sales process. We do like them to be marketing and business supply chain majors because they understand our environment a little bit better than somebody who's outside of those majors.
So the opportunities are going to mainly be in one of 2 different paths. Right now, we have opportunities in the sales field, obviously, and that's why we generally work with the Sales Leadership Center. Most of our positions are going to be in that entry level. And that's going to be working with our local fulfillment centers. So we like to get them while they're still in school, possibly, or recently graduated before they've, we like them at that entry level role because we do have a promote from within culture. So they can still be currently enrolled in classes or on summer break and come work with us and learn the way that Fastenal sells. And then we also have operations. Even though it's operations, everyone still has customer contact and is still part of the sales process in one way. So those who are a little more interested in the behind the scenes of making the sales happen, we have those opportunities also. We have facilities that are all over the Orange County area and LA area and even in the Inland Empire. So if you're a Fullerton student but live in a different city, we have Fastenals all over Southern California and even up to 3,200 locations across the United States.
When I look at an application, and especially when they're students, I look for confidence. And I say that not that they have to have all this really grandiose experience. That's not what I'm looking for. What I'm just kind of looking for is confidence in someone who can sell themselves with their past experience that they have up to that point. And whether it be in their student experience or in their work experience up to that point, that's what I want somebody to speak confidently about, and just show that there's value in what they've done in their education and also in their work experience up to this point.
One thing I noticed that happens in the Sales Leadership Center, out of a lot of the organizations that I've seen from my own college experience, and just from participating with you all for the last few years, is there's a teamwork aspect that you guys have within the Sales Leadership Center that we also have within our organization. And seeing what the hard work that goes into the SLC to pull off the event, seeing the students at the beginning of the year, and it's just this like large group of students, and by the end of the year they work better as a unit together, especially your leadership team, to pull off all these great events and bring all these great opportunities to the students. And I love seeing that process over and over again each semester and each school year. And teamwork is one of our 4 cultural values. And if someone comes into our work environment and they don't have anything else other than the teamwork aspect, they are a great fit with Fastenal, because anything else can be learned and taught, but being able to step into a team with the open mind to want to learn from others and know that you have to be able to work with other people is a huge ability for anyone to have. So the participation in the sales competitions, number one is stepping outside of your comfort zone. What we do every single day, especially in the professional sales roles, is being able to step into a building you've never been into before, talking to people you've never talked to before. Competing in that sales competition gives you that ability to do something that seems very scary, and then at the very end of it, you go, wow, that was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then, showing that you make the commitment to it, because it's not something you have to do, right? No teacher is making you do it for the grade, and showing that you've committed yourself to do it. When I see the students that show up to every single training and then take it seriously, they practice, they reach out to me with questions, they ask questions during the training sessions. I'm always amazed by those students. We've hired people who've come in first place, and we've hired people who've come in last place, because to me, it doesn't matter. It's all about the effort that they've put into it and seeing the improvement that they have throughout the entire process. And what I love the most is the eagerness of those who go into it and really, really want to do well, because it's not about a grade or their GPA or obtaining the diploma, but it's really about improving on themselves. We host the annual Fastenal sales competition. Usually we start around the month of February. It's 2 to 3 trainings. Last year we were able to host that one fully virtually. Previous to that, we held it fully in person, and we were actually able to get it in before COVID had started. We're prepared to do it either way this coming spring, either fully virtually or fully in person, or a hybrid version, whatever works the best. And we do the 2 to 3 hour training. It is a mirror of a corporate training that we actually do for our new employees. So it is getting the experience of a multi-billion-dollar corporation's training program without actually having, working for us. So I definitely encourage anyone who wants to get the feel of what that's like without, having to go through the hiring process with us, which we also encourage you to do, but without going through the hiring process with us, and put yourself out there and give it a try. They're all real world solutions that we provide our customers. We teach you the solution, and we teach you the way that we go about our sales process. And then we provide you with a role-playing opportunity with a Fastenal employee role playing the customer. And we role play the customer in such a way, giving you the experience that we experience all the time, then give you constructive feedback on how you can continue to improve throughout the future. And all of it's completely hosted by Fastenal, the judging, the role playing with the customer, and then the actual training. So, and all of it's all real world stuff. So it's not out of a textbook. It's not stuff that, has been out of practice for years. It's all stuff that we're currently teaching now, currently seeing now.
So a lot of times when they're looking to prepare, the students can reach directly out to me or her, and we can get them ready for their first interview. I kind of like to do a little prep. I give them a tiny bit of insight into what to expect when they're going to go into the first interview. At the end of the first interview, I also do that exact same thing going into the second interview, because it is obviously a little more in depth and different. If they have any questions, reach out to me all the time, and I just kind of walk them through what to expect. So that's I think is a huge benefit of working with her and I, is that we're able to help them through that. So the actual interview process is we do a first interview, which is just kind of an introductory to who they are and a little bit about their experience and a little bit about themselves. Then there's a second interview, and in that interview, it is more about their experience and what they're going to bring.
There's optional job shadowing, which we've tabled a little bit for the because of COVID. And then at that point, then we give a job offer contingent on drug screening. And then if they pass the drug screening, then we can actually move forward with a job offer. And that's really it on the interview process piece. The interviews are usually, at this point, sometimes the first interview will be someone on the recruiting team. And then we have usually the sales managers are the ones hosting the second interview. And so they'll actually be interviewing with the teams that they would potentially work with. Yes, I think everyone should. We're not at the point where we're hunting LinkedIn profiles. We mainly rely on our partnership schools and our interactions with students there. However, I will go into the idea of that if you do interact with me on LinkedIn, and your LinkedIn profile is very bare bones, obviously, then I know that you're not paying much attention to it. Remember, LinkedIn is your professional face. Make sure that your profile photo is professional, that you have one, and that you have it at least mostly filled out, that it's updated. Now, I'm not saying you have to log in every day and put posts up, which is great, but just be very, very careful and keep your resume portion updated and keep it very current. So when I got into Fastenal, I was terrified of the idea. My job title was sales. I was terrified of the idea of going into sales. It pushed me out of my comfort zone, but I also realized that sales itself is not the image that we have of the, guy knocking on the door with a briefcase full of snake oil trying to swindle somebody out of their last $10, right? It really is about consulting with people based on their needs and wants and trying to match with what you have to offer. It teaches you a lot of life skills that you're going to need no matter what your career path is taking you on. And, I do not really engage in sales anymore with my current job title, but the things that sales has taught me is very applicable in everything that I do, whether it's the recruiting aspect, whether it's working with my vendors, whether it's even just working with my teams on their operations. I'm constantly having to sell myself, ideas, Fastenal, and our programs or whatever it is. So it's amazing what it has done for my career by taking that chance.
In my career, I actually considered myself an operations person. I was in in retail sales for 16 years, and I spent 11 years of that in operations. And when I left that company and came to Fastenal, the same. I did not consider myself a salesperson, and I was put into a sales role, and I was a little bit intimidated, but I took on the challenge. And in my career, I've always told myself, get out of your comfort zone and take on something that you're not used to or comfortable with. I did take on a sales role, and I did that for 4 years. Just like Brandi said, it absolutely changed how I see myself in different roles, especially in this role too, because when her and I work together, we use a lot of those sales techniques in this role as well. I've learned how to talk with people. That sales experience will always benefit me from here forward. It's priceless at this point for me. I would say, as you go forward in your career, take the risks, take those risks. And what I mean by that is a risk that will challenge you, that will help you grow, that will help you stretch. It really can open so many opportunities when they just take those initial risks and kind of stretch yourself and really get out of that comfort zone. We use the term cross-trained, and that's what I did a lot of my careers. I allowed myself to be cross-trained into different areas in marketing, in sales, and in operations. And so at this point, 20 years later, I'm able to put a lot of that on my resume, and it's really helped me.
One thing we discuss a lot is that there are a lot of companies out there that you all know about. You know about because you use their products in your daily life, but there's a lot of companies like ours that you've probably never heard of, that have career opportunities that would take you really far in life. And again, like I said, are very recession proof. So make sure that you're investigating the companies and in looking at their training programs, looking at what the career opportunities are, and don't just take the name brand at the value that they have just because it sounds fancy to you, because it sounds exciting. When I first started with Fastenal Company, it's like they sell bolts and washers. Like that does not sound very exciting. But when I got into it and found out what we do, the companies that we keep running, the importance and the, how essential we are to the economy is amazing. Even though we aren't a well-known name, without companies like ours, bigger names that you do know of, like Amazon, like SpaceX, like Tesla, we help build things like rockets and bridges. We help, keep big companies like Disney and Amazon running. It's actually a very exciting company to work for. Not everyone has that moment in time where they go, hey, this is exactly what I want to do with my life. So allow yourself to just explore your interests and allow it to build up on itself, because those kinds of things and realizations of things that you like may come in smaller increments.